for 8 really, but then came up with a big punch in the night. Has had some. Remember, Mercer was sudden. Holmes has some fans behind him against Mercer on the fact that Mercer has it. He is shaking up, and Mercer. Or if he hits me low, I've been hit low before. Things I can do to him.
2 kali pensiun setelah gagal merebut gelar IBF-nya dari Michael Spinks dan kekalahan dari Tyson untuk gelar tak terbantahkan. Holmes kembali naik ring dan berhasil mengalahkan 5 petinju yang kurang terkenal. Dan atas kemenangannya, Larry Holmes mendapatkan kesempatan untuk menantang penantang peringkat 5 IBF dan juara kelas berat dunia WBO yang tak terkalahkan, Ray Mercer, yang berlangsung pada 7 Februari 1992.
Larry Holmes.
Sedangkan Mercer menjadi salah satu petarung teratas di divisi kelas berat setelah kemenangannya atas 2 petinju tak terkalahkan, Damiani dan Morrison. Mercer langsung melepaskan sabuk WBO-nya dan menolak untuk melawan penantang nomor 1 Michael Moorer. Karena satu-satunya yang dianggap menghalangi untuk karirnya adalah Larry Holmes yang sudah tua. Untuk menentukan siapa yang akan bertemu dengan Evander Holyfield untuk memperebutkan kejuaraan kelas berat versi IBF, WBA, dan WBC.
And a game face on Larry Holmes that we have not seen.
Allow for Holmes to punch himself out and then come back.
Holmes datang ke pertarungan sebagai underdog 4-1, namun Holmes tetap yakin bahwa ia bisa mengalahkan Mercer dan bersumpah bahwa ia akan pensiun untuk terakhir kalinya jika mengalami kekalahan.
Holmes basing his confident feeling against Mercer on the fact that Mercer has had some difficulty with boxers. And Damiano, he went the distance with Kimil Odom 12 and Mercer compared to some of the opponents he's had. And he is shaking up. And Mercer going in. Mercer, who is known to find an opening and go right in as Tom and Morrison.
And that's just why Larry Holmes should not stand flat-footed. He said that he was going to stand flat-footed and fight Mercer toe-to-toe. That's the wrong way to fight a big puncher like Mercer. Holmes has got a superior jab. He's got to use that and use his movement.
And he can't get out of that game.
Not at all. He cannot let down for 1 second. Here he is trading with Ray Mercer.
But you know this is a good round for Mercer because he is making Holmes expend.
Pada awal ronde pertarungan, Mercer dan Holmes sama-sama agresif dan saling bertukar pukulan, meskipun Mercer lebih mampu mendaratkan pukulan yang lebih efektif.
To Mercer, he's eating those left hooks. The effective left jab that Holmes has, there's a good jab by Mercer. Little sloppy. Now, for Holmes, he should try to get Mercer out of the game. Make him.
Larry Holmes at the age of 40 up against Ray Mercer, got a late start in this business and trying to make up for lost time. Matter of fact, Mercer, when he was learning to fight in the Army, his idol was then world champion Larry Holmes.
Good chopping right hand from Mercer. Now, where is that stinging left jab?
Ray Mercer may be made to order for Larry Holmes, but the Larry Holmes of 10 years ago when he was able to get the jab going and also...
But that was always his best weapon. He was terrific when he boxed around his opponent, and in the perfect moment he sat down and threw big combinations. Wow, good right hands from Larry.
Holmes unleashing.
But Ray trying to get Holmes to throw. He's trying to make him work.
Remember all the punishment absorbed by Ray Mercer in the first 3.
Di usianya yang ke-42, Holmes menunjukkan bahwa ia tidak kehilangan akal sehatnya. Dalam pertarungan yang lambat antara 2 petinju yang tangguh, Holmes kebanyakan bermain di tali sudut, menahan pukulan keras Mercer, dan berhasil mentarkan beberapa pukulan.
Close in when Holmes is weary. Holmes say, come on in. And Holmes.
And there is why. You look at their bodies, it appears that Holmes has less fat on his body than Ray Mercer. Looks like Larry's in better shape than Ray. You go by the body, there's more detail in Holmes' body.
Big right hands for Larry Holmes to end the undoing of Holmes before this one is over. The hander turned pro in February of 1989. That was a year after Holmes lost in his first comeback to Mike Tyson. Holmes says this story is different. Against Tyson, he came back cold. He wasn't ready.
And you can see Larry setting that right hand up for Mercer, asking him to come in where Mercer can hit him with it.
Why is Holmes
And when your legs get old, they get tired quickly. Now Mercer must go back to that left hook. Remember how much damage he did with that in the opening round?
Holding off is Holmes. Mercer wants to tell Holmes, no effect. Remember, Mercer was outboxed for 8 rounds by Francisco Damiani, outboxed badly, but then came up with a big punch in the 9th, and here is Holmes. All of a sudden, Holmes has some fans behind him. Rocking away upstairs, then downstairs at Ray Mercer. Holmes at home in the corner. He's got the big 5-inch reach advantage.
And using those ropes, he's bouncing off those ropes. When he comes back off the bounce, he's throwing the right hand. Trying to get a little bit extra power from those ropes. Oh, a missing, chopping right hand from Mercer. These right hands over on the top of the head are doing a lot of damage on Mercer. Those right hands, you can hit a man 15 times, and finally that 16th punch, you'll go down. You hit him in the same spot.
But Holmes here through 3 rounds, Sean. He's trying to slug with Mercer.
Trying to measure Mercer, too. Now Mercer's got to get back with that left hook.
30 seconds left. Holmes still holding onto the rope. Not even using that hand for defensive purposes. But I still think Holmes playing into the hands of Mercer. This is 12 rounds scheduled. And Holmes now trying to slow it down by holding on. How much will he have left in the later rounds? Mistake on the part of the former world champion. And a matter of fact, just got a warning from his cornerback when Holmes came in. He said, well, if he knocks me down, I've been there before. If he thumps me, I've been thumped before. If he hits me low, I've been hit low before. That there's nothing that Mercer can do to me that hasn't been done. But there's a lot of things I can do to him that he's never experienced. And now won the heavyweight title in the Olympics at 196. His last fight against Morrison, he was 225, and he's up to 228 and 3/4. He started his comeback at 238 and has come down. He has trained hard for this. He won the title in 1978 against Ken Norton at 217. 35 seconds to go in the 4th. So Holmes seconds here that he may want to turn it up.
Once again, come in here. I'm going to bounce off these ropes, and then I'm going to land the right hand.
Working towards the Holyfield fight. Holmes not as patient. He's had 5 fights, and he says, I'm ready to find out. That's why he's taking this fight against Ray Mercer. He's also making $1 million for it. The Walt swings open to the winner. Talk already of the winner of this fight going on in June to fight George Foreman.
There was a digging right hand to the body from Mercer.
Remember, this is the round. This is the time Mercer came out to finish off Tommy Morrison. And they start off slugging here in the 5th. There's the jab of Holmes.
Holmes menghabiskan hampir seluruh ronde kelima dengan punggung menempel di sudut tali dan mendaratkan beberapa pukulan bagus pada Mercer. Mercer tampaknya telah lelah dengan strategi Holmes yang tidak lazim dan tidak mendaratkan pukulan sebanyak yang ia lakukan di ronde-ronde sebelumnya.
Mercer is confused here in this 5th round.
Of course, Mercer looking the 42 years old.
I wasn't going to say that. boxing and do it in a good fashion. With a fight like this, he can do that.
And
there it is.
With the combination followed by the right.
Larry was trying to sucker punch Mercer. Mercer saw it.
Larry Holmes, is he talking to the Mercer fans in Mercer's corner? Or just talking to all the folks viewing? Holmes turned pro 19 years ago. Camp boxing team, of course. And a late bloomer is already 30 years old. Developing a cult following with the way he takes punishment and keeps on ticking and finds a way to win in a dramatic fashion. But he may have a successful career, but with all this punishment, may be short-lived. But the former champ is surprising him and surprising Ray Mercer. This is a scheduled 12-rounder. It is a non-title fight. Mercer gave up his WBO title, passing up, but he wanted to get $1 million. He thought perhaps a quick and easy $1 million over a former champ, the 42-year-old Larry Holmes.
And that right uppercut from Larry is doing a lot of damage right on the end, and so great in the ropes.
Larry Holmes also playing to the end of this fight and said, "Who's Ray Mercer?" He beat Tommy Morrison. Holmes feels Morrison couldn't fight. He was taking the distance by Kemuel Odom, and Ozzy Ocasio was losing to Damiani when he came up with a big punch. That's how Holmes thought about this one. Even though Holmes may have had somewhat of a fantasy trying to recapture his youth, he's certainly not the fighter of his champion.
Against the rules, what referees don't like you to do is use those ropes as leverage with one of your hands. Fighting back is Holmes. Mercer has got to get back to throwing some punches. Too many of these rounds are slipping by for Ray.
Holmes.
Boom. That right hand is the same one that had done the damage throughout this fight.
And now some blood from the mouth of Mercer. Mercer just standing in front of Holmes. Holmes knew that Mercer would be there. Against Damiani, when he was behind, his corner was getting very concerned. Mercer said, "Don't worry, I'm going to catch him."
You know something, Al? These punches from Larry Holmes will add up. Finally, one of these shots will put Mercer down to the canvas.
In non-controversial knockout fashion to Mike Tyson. There's the jab snapped out by Holmes.
But with that Tyson fight, Al, he says I was coming off 16 months layoff. That's why he came into this fight with 5 fights under his belt. Larry Holmes made a big mistake, he admits, when he fought Mike Tyson. He just lost his championship. He lost the last 2 fights before Mike.
You know, he got blasted in the 2 fights against rotund Eddie Gonzalez and an unknown by the name of Art Card for not putting them out. But Larry Holmes was using that as an extensive sparring session. His problem was just going national TV with that. His first few fights out didn't look good, but he was getting the ring rust off. I mean, Tommy Morrison should have had a few fights like that before taking on Mercer.
That could be a call to keep some fighters off national television early. Too much for Larry to go. Larry to get off. There's a good right hand. The single punches are coming from Mercer.
Says he's going to fight Mercer until there's no one if he wins.
Mario go, oh, I don't want to do that again. There's a right hand by Mercer.
Of course, past his prime, Weaver, Bourbon, Spinks, as in Leon, Bone Crusher Smith, Witherspoon.
Oh, that was...
Now, originally, it was supposed to be a 10, but the 2 fighters agreed to go 12. He was booed when he stepped in the ring, but the crowd chanting, "Larry, Larry," here in the 9th. And the crowd, and it's going for Larry Holmes.
There is the right hand from Larry Holmes in that 9th round. Has been a great puncher late in a fight. He's not a good puncher. Ray Mercer. Distance with Larry Holmes. He needs to move in.
The right of Holmes connects with Mercer, and again, and now blood from the nose of Ray Mercer. or perhaps, as Holmes says, he's fighting a guy who's just made to order, whether it's Larry Holmes of 1982 or Larry Holmes of 1992. Holmes knows whatever Mercer has left, he's going to see the next 6 minutes. Knows he will be pressed.
Mercer. Now on the inside, watch him tie up Mercer. The referee breaks him. Larry Holmes is playing with intelligence, playing with wisdom, experience.
Before the fight, Hank Jackson. And Holmes has to feel he didn't take this fight soon enough. So Larry Holmes taking a different comeback route, not going 3 years as George Foreman did, but Holmes got back in the fray a little later in life.
Well, it is surprising to me, but Larry is putting on a great fight.
Takes out the rising undefeated fighter in Todd Font.
Larry looks good. Now Ray Mercer is fighting out of desperation.
Ray Mercer said if this one goes the distance, if Larry Holmes goes... Several of those Holmes fight 15 rounds, so he certainly brings the experience into the final 3 minutes. Knows every way to hold on and get through this time. Mercer now measuring him. Mercer has to close in. Mercer, from our scorecard, needs the knockout. Again, has to come up with the dramatic.
But does Mercer have the experience?
And again, some chance for Larry. Larry, the boos in the beginning were more
for fighter of the two.
1 minute left, 60 seconds and counting.
Now here's the opportunity for Mercer. Got to hit those hands moving.
Holmes started very quickly in the first few rounds. Thought that it might be a mistake. He would run out of gas. He hasn't. Holmes now screaming in the face of Mercer. And Holmes saving some. In the end, remember, he's reminded, don't get careless. You can never be saved by the bell in Atlantic City. No round. So Holmes can't get careless down to the last second.
Mercer terus berjuang hingga kelelahan dengan pertahanan Holmes selama sisa pertarungan yang berlangsung selama 12 ronde penuh tanpa knockdown. Pertarungan pun berlanjut ke kartu skor dan Larry Holmes dinyatakan sebagai pemenang dengan keputusan bulat.
117 to 112. Eugene Grant scores the bout. 117 to 111. John Potteray has it. 115 to 113 for the winner by unanimous decision from Easton, Pennsylvania, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Larry